I don't wear underwear. Because I like to have my balls all bare. Jesus. I don't shave a nair. I was thinking, because I was listening to some of John Cena's old rap style. Mm-hmm. It's basically like, I'm standing here at the WWE.
I didn't know John Cena rapped until he showed me.
Well, that was his first persona thing. You can't see.
Did he just pull up?
Yeah.
Alright. How much time we got left on the song? Just go and start it.
Yep.
Hey.
Chicago, he's a cubby boy. You never know when they're going to win.
Got like 15 seconds.
Come on, 15 seconds. Have a seat. Yeah, we got the Kingpin.
Radio! Happy Halloween, guys. It is the Halloween edition of Geeked Out. I'm your man, JQ. This is, oh my god, where did my monitor's gone?
There we go.
Can you turn up my mic again, please?
Turn up the mic.
I guess I should check mine.
Yeah.
We good.
I don't know how my mics, bro. 1, 2, there you go. Alright, that's it.
Alright, anyway.
What's up, folks? It's your man JQ right here on Geeked Out Radio. Geeked Out. I'm man, as I said, JQ. This is Free.
Yo!
And my man Chandler.
Yo.
Oh, he's not awake.
Man, come on, Chandler.
Chandler today.
Yeah. Someone's been playing bad boy on the internet and has been creating some havoc for my website for the show.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So I've been doing damage control.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
It's one of those.
I will say this. I've already put the phone call with the Guido, and Guido is just waiting for it.
What was the name of John Romita Jr.'s book that he wanted to put out? The two
the uncles.
Oh, you're talking about
Smokey and Bimbo.
Smokey and Bimbo.
Smokey and Bimbo.
Wow, I don't know what the DJ Dinero's doing.
Weird. This is a really weird. Oh my god. Let's do it again. Oh, cow. Wow.
We're not going to do this show anymore.
Is this supposed to be the Halloween sound effects?
It could be. It could be. Ooh. So what can we do, Jeff? Can we turn down this monitor out here? Ooh, I feel like talking slower.
There it is.
Hey, what's going on? All right, here we go. Back to normal. Normal.
Yeah, it's normal now. What was it? What'd you do?
Just remember that for the next time.
It's back to normal out here.
He hit sound.
When he turned, I see when he turned it down.
It's
1, 2.
Here we go. 1, 2.
There's gremlins in here somewhere.
Crazy things happen on Halloween.
Wow. So anyways, we're just gonna keep on talking. It doesn't matter. We got our folks here on YouTube Live.
Right.
All right. Can we turn it down from here?
3, 4, check.
Okay, so we're gonna just keep on going. We got YouTube Live, and they can hear us fine. So, anyways, it is the Halloween edition of Geeked Out.
As you can tell.
You can tell. Thanks for hanging out with us on YouTube, guys. And yeah, I got my costume. Free's got his costume. He's got his Magneto costume. Hold on, we put this on so we can.
For the people that are just listening on the radio that can't see this, he just put on his Wolverine mask.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We're all in character except for one guy here.
Well, you know, Chandler is even the one that said, "Yeah,
Kingpin." Well,
Kingpin
again, I've already put out the orders that Kingpin puts out, and there is a hit on someone.
We're just waiting for the address of where it goes. Oh man. See, we got.
there must be a ghost or something in the studio tonight. Because everything's going crazy.
Oh, man. I'm going to take this off. This is so uncomfortable. Anyways, we got a great show for you guys today.
Not having you sit next to me with that on is very uncomfortable.
Because he's got the Wolverine
hard to be taken serious.
I love that you got the mask up front and your hat. Right.
It's like I'm like ghetto Magneto.
Hood Magneto.
Someone can wake me up because I'm
Does the store have anything planned for Halloween? Do you guys have any like?
We actually did something over the weekend.
What
yeah,
happened over
We
the
were,
weekend?
it was an event that Diamond does, where we had little books for kids and everything. So that's what went on, but it's in October.
So who did you have come out to do sketches and stuff for?
Oh, that, I didn't have anyone.
Okay, good.
We were giving out free stuff.
I would be like,
Yeah, we were giving out free stuff. And I wasn't here, so I was.
Oh, where were you?
I was in LA.
Oh, okay.
Friday I was at Marvel Studios. You would have seen pictures,
Right.
evidence.
And then
Saturday,
and Sunday.
I was at the show with him.
Yes.
Well, not with him, he was already there,
Yeah.
but I was there. And then Sunday, I was over at Jerry Conway's house.
Nice, beautiful.
Now, for the listeners out there that might not know who Jerry Conway is, he is one of the creators.
Did he work on Captain Marvel, the original Captain Marvel? Does anyone
Chandler.
know?
Do you know?
Jerry Conway.
Miss Marvel.
Miss Marvel.
Not Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel.
I could have sworn he did like the old Kree Captain Marvel.
You might have.
He might have done like a guest.
Yeah,
Back
I
then,
know
yeah.
he's associated with this.
Cool.
I get, because,
Alright.
you know, it kind of bounced back and forth at certain times.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean, how many people worked on so many? I mean, it's just like nowadays, like how many people work on. So, anyways, yeah, let's keep on talking about that. So, LA. What did you see? What did you hear? What did you? Yeah.
Other than walked into the Marvel building. This was at Disney Studios in Burbank. Walked into the Marvel building. I saw a certain individual who we've talked about in the past, who's associated with got a chance to see up to the point where, let's just say, I was allowed to take pictures up to the point where we walked up to a particular security door. Once we go through that door, cameras can't come out.
So the stuff before that, what did you take pictures of?
Oh gosh, what was Hela? They had the costume for Hela.
Oh wow, nice.
That was there. Let me think. They had other promotional material there. Obviously, they had walls covered with all kinds of stuff. They had a picture up on the wall. This was the picture that was right next to the door where you walk into and associated with the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Cool.
Both crew and cast.
Oh wow.
I mean, it was
Nice.
huge. This picture was probably whoa. And I mean, everyone in the picture was maybe an inch tall.
Wow.
So you see all these
Like drawn.
No, it was an actual picture.
Okay, so was it the same one that they took for? I think it was Entertainment Weekly.
I don't
Because
know.
I remember seeing a picture. They have a whole cast and crew.
Well, it might have been the
Yeah.
same picture. Yeah, that might have been the individual that actually brought us in. He's kind of like, oh, that's me right there. It's like getting a magnifying glass out. Yeah. But you know, then at one point we walked over to what is called the Avenger Building, which is where all the post-production and all the, as there happened to be two parking spots that were reserved, and they happen to be reserved for a very famous brother team that has been working on the Avengers.
What's the names? It's
What's
a
the
parking
names?
spot. You can tell them the name
It,
for a parking spot.
it would be the directors of the movie. On me,
Not the
I'll tell you in a
Coen brothers,
second
right?
because I have pictures. I have photographic evidence in this case. Give me a second.
Don't worry, Chandler's got a pornographic memory.
No, actually, my wife has that.
Oh my goodness.
Woo!
I'm sorry, I meant photographic memory.
It's a weird show today, isn't it? All
Let's
these
see.
different things.
It was the
Russo brothers, yes.
The Russo brothers, and sure enough, there were cars in both spots.
Oh, so they were there.
What would
somewhere.
that tell you?
So that their assistants are there?
And we had just let's just say we had been told that we just missed Natasha. And you know, we talked about different actors and stuff, and they were saying, you know, it wouldn't be unusual to see, you know, Robert Downey Jr. walking through or Chris Evans walking. They would have negotiations.
Right.
There was one soundstage in particular, that show, but it was one of the TV shows too, and then soundstage one. You know, like I said, it was interesting to be able to be where they asked who we'd come to see. We had to show them our ID, and so we had to wear a badge the whole time we were there on the premises. And then we were able to get, like, give you an example, we were able to get Disney Studio merchandise that was exclusive to that store only.
Wow. Okay.
I also ended up buying, it is only available on the specific website, and it was only available at that store. As far as a brick and mortar store, that was the only store it was available at. So someone from the general public couldn't come walking in and buy it. So I ended up getting one of the pin sets.
Beautiful.
I got this coffee cup set, which was really kind of cool because it has what looks like pencil renderings of Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse.
Oh, awesome.
And I think Pluto?
Yeah.
Pluto and Donald. It was a form. Make sure that you put a little laser guarded fence around it so people at work don't put their grubby little hands on it. But you know, anyway, so those were just some of the fun things that. And then.
So the next question.
You know, and it was funny. Honestly, when I was there,
Everybody knows that.
and I figure the odds of me getting a response out of him in a timely manner of 20, 30 minutes were like a zillion to one.
Well,
especially with him being a thing.
What was it? What did you see?
It was a particular. If I remember, it was a particular pin that I thought you might have been interested in. I forget exactly what it was, and I actually meant to take a picture of it, and I got distracted. So, too many toys to look at.
So
fine.
I'm sure.
Okay,
sure.
you can imagine who's ahead of you.
I'm
Boss
sure.
lady.
Man, you are just popular today. You're full. You're like, you were at the LA Convention Center, huh?
Yes, I was at the LA Comic Con this year. I want to thank Corey Silverman. He's the coordinator since it first opened, like literally the first year till now. And because of that, I've been having a lot of return customers, a lot of support. Anybody got lost or got separated, we all meet at Free's table. That's how it was. And so the LA Comic Con of old, like when I first started, that energy, that spirit, so it's returned. And so it was actually really good. It was a great time. I loved it. Jeremy was with me. The thing is, normally we have 6-foot tables. This thing had it was fun. It was good. There's a lot of celebrities walking around, of course. Chandler and Jason and all the rest of the crew.
Celebrity.
Getting ready.
It was interesting that there were several artists that saw me there, and they're kind of like, hey, you got your show coming up. Can I get into it?
Right.
It's like, well, okay, Same thing with some of the. So busy getting ready for this show, I totally forgot. And do you still have space in your show? Oh, yeah. Okay. So, it's interesting. It recognize the show, and it's like, I've heard such great things about it. Thank you. We try
stuff for a Great American coming up November 17th and 18th.
That's
at
right.
At the
Las
Vegas Convention Center.
2 weeks away, folks. 2 weeks.
And so we were doing that. We're selling.
You're like a drawing machine.
especially because a lot of the families that come to see me, they've been bringing their kids for the past 6 years, or past 4 years, 3 years, 2 years, whatever it is, and so now their kids have to see a lot of support coming up. It's kind of like when I did Denver Comic Con with Desert Winds and all that. You start off by seeing all these new people, and then those new people become friends on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. Yeah, how you doing? And so yeah, again, the LA Comic Con is kind of like a family vacation for me. Like when I go there, I just know a whole bunch of different people now, and it's not just going into a new market where I don't know anybody. Now there's like supporters that come over all the time, so that's really cool. Got to walk around a little bit. I didn't walk around a lot.
And then Halloween's coming up. Did you see any cool cosplays?
Oh, there's a whole ton of cool cosplays. So the controversy is like, oh, cosplayers do this, and then, take a, when they stop in front of your booth and take pictures, and then, all that kind of stuff. But I personally love it. you know, you see the kids, their faces, and they're dressed up too, you know, so design, like my artwork, and say, I'm gonna try and make a cosplay out of it. And there's a few out there already that's doing it, but there's a lot more that's gonna be coming up, so, yeah, a lot of crazy cosplays, dude. Like, really good stuff.
Like, I mean, tell us, like, what did you see that kind of just, like, blew your mind?
Well, it's LA. So they have, like drag queen, I can't even say queen because, like, you still got the facial hair and everything. David Garcia, he's one of the, like, the premier cosplayers out there that, like, do gender bender stuff. So he did, Poison Ivy. I had, what's her name, Flutterby, she does Maleficent, Elsa, all that stuff. And then, you know, we got a whole bunch of them. Like, I think the really cool one that I saw was, like, of course, all the mashups. So you see a Harley Quinn / Joker, like, literally half, you know.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's, like, things like that. So it's really kind of cool. Just gotta go on my Facebook and look at my posts, and you'll see a lot of them. There's one that was a Domino, holding a Domino's pizza in a Domino's, like, you know, uniform. So it's like Domino's Domino. So it's kind of cool.
Were there dominoes in her box?
That would have been awesome, but no, it was a pizza.
It was the pins that they had that were exclusive to the store that had to do with Ursula, and two of the other famous Disney characters.
Oh, okay.
That I'm kind of like, I figured you really
would like.
I thought, okay, well, I guess I'm just gonna have to drag him in with me next time.
Yeah,
so.
next time. You know, the funny thing, like, you talk about going to the Marvel studio. I've actually done that I went to Warner Brothers Studios. You know, like how they had, like, the regular, like, tours and everything? Well, one of our DJs that used to work for Desktop, I forgot his name, he's an executive over there. When you check it at the gate, they actually take a photo of your face, put it on, and they make the pass with your name and face on it. And so we got in, we got to see America's Best Dance Crew getting filmed, The Mentalist set, it was still a hot set at the time, so we couldn't touch anything. Like, you can't, like, say for example, something's on the table here, he's off. So you can't touch anything on a hot set. And so we did that, I got to see the Harry Potter, the commissary, like the employee commissary. And so, even the tour can't go on. So that was kind of cool. But that wasn't this weekend, this past week.
Cool, so let's move on to our next topic.
Yeah.
So Chandler brought this up, and we were kind of like, you made a good point that we can talk about the current stuff. So you kind of wanted to talk about the difference between old Comic Cons and new Comic Cons, basically.
Yeah.
So go ahead and start it off.
Well, you know, it's interesting talking to all these different creators, and I know, I'll give you an example. There's a gentleman that I do business with here in Las Vegas, and it was funny because I've been working with this gentleman on different projects for probably the last 10 years, and didn't know on in Southern California, where he went and rented this little community.
Now, when you say kid, how old is a kid?
15?
He was like 15, 16 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's what I mean by a kid. And, you know, he reached out to these different creators that he was a big fan of. And, you know, what he did was he basically rented for very, very, very little money what would be like a little community center. And, had tables and different guests ranging from, you know, people, someone that you wouldn't really know all that much versus, you know, someone such as a Jack Kirby who would come out and they would sit there, would be a one-day show, but he was simply charging the vendors a small fee for them to have table space. And, so he talked about how he put stuff like that together, and just listening, and that to me is all these giant convention centers filled with 100,000 people. You're lucky if you get 500 people come walking through your door at these events. And it was very close-knit, very intimate, in the sense that you would have oh, I saw your name, you know, in a movie credit or something like that. We're talking about someone who, you know, they read the books, they were fans of the books, and that they came to see that particular creator and talked. They didn't charge for signatures, you know. As a matter of fact, they didn't charge for sketches. They even sketched for free. This was their way of connecting with the fan to help them sell books, you know. And when I say sell books, popularity of what they're working on, so that what was being sold in the comic shops and the newsstands continued to flow, because that's where they were going to make their money, is having an ongoing series, so that they would continue to get work from that publisher. And like I said, you look at, there was a period of time where Marvel had all their creators, now I say all, not every single one, but they had all their creators that they would have, you know, 30, 40 creators that would have tables, and again, it's the same thing. And if they charged anything to get in the door, it was going to be, you know, $5 to get in the door or something. Of exhibitors who would pay for their table space, and the whole purpose was to promote the books. There was no celebrity signings in those days. There was no photo ops in those days. I mean, let's face it, the cameras back then, you know, you're lucky if you made necessarily have. What they had was they had the little Kodak Instamatics. Yeah, so Jeremy over there using his thumb. Exactly, it's like, you know, these little cameras. They'd sit there and take a picture, and then they'd have to sit there and
wind it up.
Yeah, wind up, and they'd have to sit there and send it in and have it processed.
I remember cameras that you actually had to put the light bulb, like the 4 square light bulb on the
Yeah,
top.
yeah, you know, but you know, again, this was the old days of comic book conventions, and your dealers were, you know what, they were just trying to peddle the books. You didn't have books that they were charging $100, $500, $1,000 for, where you'd have a dealer that would go over to another dealer's table and he'd start looking through his boxes. Oh, cool, he needs this to fill this collection or whatever. And he would say like, hey, you know, I'd like to get this book and this book. I have this stuff, what do you have? And you'd end up having, you know, exchanges that would take, you know, someone would walk up, a fan would walk up, and they would want to buy, they'd buy like a run of books or something. They'd sit there and pay, you know, $5, $10 for the run, you know, whatever it was, especially when you're talking about 25-cent books. So, you know, and like I said, those were the old days. So they didn't charge. They didn't, you know, there was no charge. As a matter of fact, they were flattered if you wanted to take a picture with them. It was like, cool, yeah, and they wouldn't charge for that. To them, it was almost, I hate to say it this way, it was almost like their civic duty to be at that show and to promote the book that they were working on, and readers, and talking to fans and some of the promoters. And you look at today, completely different.
Oh, yeah.
Completely different.
So back in the days, they wouldn't charge for signatures because those signatures weren't getting CGC. They weren't getting graded. You know, now it's a business now where some signature comic.
But it's even gotten to the point now where it doesn't make any difference whether the book is going to be graded. They're still going to charge for their signature.
Really?
They're going to charge less for a book that's not graded, but they're still charging for their signature.
Yeah.
And I mean, let's face it, you just like you talk about someone like Stan Lee. You know, last year I think his price was somewhere in the area of $70 to $80 an item. Made no difference whether it was being graded.
Yeah.
That was what you paid for his signature.
Yeah, but now it's a business. You know,
Yeah,
it wasn't just like,
it-
oh my
it
God, I
is-
get to meet you.
It has become its own business, where before it was a business people.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, to put on a convention is not cheap.
No, not at all.
You know, to have a smaller convention facility that's 20,000 square feet, you're still going to be, that's just the use of the facility. That doesn't include the tables and the chairs and everything that's needed to bring into the booth or bring into the show. So, you know, when you look at some of these shows, and I know people will talk about some of these shows, and And they, like San Diego as an example, they're like, oh my God, how much money are they just on?
No, it's, yeah, it's cool, especially like San Diego, and it's so big that the whole city has to have like their banners, San Diego Comic Con banners, and, you know,
Oh, yeah.
pop culture banners and all
Yeah,
that stuff.
you know, they definitely, and you know, that comes down to marketing, that what they were able to do is they were able to, there was a lot of pride, within the city, and let's face it, you take a show like San Diego, it's generating for the city.
$500 million.
Yeah, it's generating
in one
for
weekend.
the city hundreds of millions of dollars because of hotels and
Food.
transportation and
Yeah.
food and everything else changed in the landscape of how they're put on, how they're run, and how creators approach it. I mean, you have where back in the day you didn't necessarily have someone who had been working in the industry for many years, so that they can make some money to survive on. You didn't have that happening back then because, for the most part, your guys that were in comics at that time were in their 40s, you know, and versus guys who were in their 60s and 70s now.
Yeah.
So, you know, truer fan experience versus what it is today. Today, while the challenge for promoters is to create something that the fans will embrace and that the fans will invest in, and you know, that's to get something in return, and you've got to be able to give them something and reach. Sit there and not hesitate to say that was well worth the investment of money.
Recreation centers, little ballrooms here and there, hotels, you had that fan experience. And then in my era, when I first got into comics, maybe 3,000 people came. And you literally had guys like Jim Lee, Joe Madden, Mark Silvestri, J. Scott Campbell, Will Smith-Tasha, all in a row. So you can literally have one book and just have them all sign it. Or you can have 10 books and have them all sign it. And back then, you could have like Death Maid
and they were glad to be there.
Oh, yeah.
Because they weren't promoting themselves per se.
No, they were promoting like the Killer Instinct crossover, right?
Yeah.
And so that was like our introduction to like the kind of convention feel, like the anime style stuff. Because Hawaii has a very that there was American comic supporters, but we didn't have a convention there. So that was like the only two there. And so then started like the boom. Now I look at it like I'm sitting, okay, so this past one at LA Comic Con, I'm sitting next to Joe Bonita's company. Behind me was Merritt Michaels. There's a few guys like Jeremy Clark, and right across from us was one of the original designers for now, because of the independent surge in the 90s with the Image guys and all that stuff. Now you can actually be in Artist Alley with Scott Williams. You can be in Artist Alley with Will Smith-Tasha and all that kind of stuff. So on this side of the room, like on this side of the table, it's kind of cool because we actually get to be a part of the legendary people that you grew up as a fan. It's still, I mean, again, it kind of depends on what your experience is. For me, it's like as a fan, if you're like, oh my God, Will Smith-Tasha is here, you can see him at a table. You know, you can see him doing panels and all that kind of stuff. It's not like the movie industry. I can't sit next to Brad, you know, and see Brad Pitt and Angelina and all those people. But as a comic book person,
How about the Thomas Jane?
well, again, he's an actor, so he can do that.
Well, no, but at the same time, Thomas also is a comic creator.
That's true.
He has his own regular booth. He doesn't sit in the celebrity sections there, promoting himself as not only as an actor, but as a comic creator, as a comic writer.
But I agree, and that's what I'm saying. Like you can actually be a part of it with them.
Yeah.
You know, like say for example San Diego. And I tell a lot of people because a lot of people don't understand why people sleep overnight in the grass outside of Hall H. And I tell them, well, me or anybody else, they're here to see Chris Evans and
they're here to see Chris Evans, and they're here to see Rick Grimes or you know,
so that's
whoever of your favorite TV show. That the only thing they've ever been able to do is see them either on the big screen or on the little screen.
Yeah.
And this is the first time they could see them in
live.
blood.
Exactly. And so that's their experience, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
comic convention is still the same, it kind of depends on who you are. The same kind of love that you had for the creators back then, you can still do that now in Artist Alley and Small Press. Again, it's 100,000 people instead of 100 people, but the essence of it is still
Well,
there.
I would agree with that. I'm seeing guys who don't have long history in this business, and they're charging for their signatures.
Yeah, I don't
And
understand.
one artist, and I might have told this story in the past, but there was this one artist that happened to be on a very hot book, and it was his first hot book. And within a couple of months, he made an appearance at a convention in Seattle. Half a dozen copies of his books from different customers that wanted me to get them signed for them. And I walked up to him, and he basically said, "I'm charging $10 a pop." And I kind of looked at him. You know, this is your first hit book.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Just for reference, how old do you think this guy was?
pardon?
How old was this guy?
He was
Estimate.
He was probably, I would say, somewhere in his late 20s. And when I said, I have a question for you, I said, do you feel that with what history you have in this industry, and I said, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, can you have the right to charge the same amount of money as someone like John Romita Jr., who, you know, you look at his history in the industry and everything that he's accomplished, and you know, he charges $10 a signature, and even then he kind of cringes. How is it you feel that you are able to charge a fee that someone who has 100 times the history that you have? And he came back with the following response. He said, "Problem is, I'm on a hot book right now, and this gives me the opportunity, if I'll have this opportunity again." And
Yeah, fair enough.
when he said that, I thought, okay, I can acknowledge and I can respect that answer. And that's, you know, at least he was honest in saying, hey, I'm the next hot thing, and I'm just getting warmed up right now. Wait, because I'm the next Jim Lee. And it's like, really? You want to know how many of those I've talked to over the years?
Right.
You know,
That's been in the industry.
Something that was hot like that for years and years and years.
Well, you know, like you said, I respect that answer. Like, I wasn't expecting that answer from a young artist.
I mean, judging by my question about his age,
Yeah.
and the response that I gave, you kind of take that as a negative play. You know, like oh, you kind of automatically from both sides, from the older side and from the newer. It's like when you get an answer like that from a younger kid, you're kind of like,
It's like, all right, he's got a good head on his shoulders.
yeah,
Right. Because honestly, I wasn't expecting that response.
yeah.
And it actually makes sense, and it's respectable. So, good for him. I don't know what his name is, but good for him. My God, that would be on every single trading card I put out. It'd be on my business card, everything. I'd have to ride that wave because I honestly don't know if I'd ever get that opportunity again. So that's actually a great way to look at it. But yeah, and I get it. You know, I mean, I think again the heart and soul of comics are still there.
You know, after experiencing San Diego, I kind of like I'm of the mindset that sometimes I feel like the entertainment portion of it and all that stuff should just be another show altogether.
Right.
Stop calling it Comic-Con at this point.
Pop culture con.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think if we want to get back to the
another way of thinking about it is because even though it's a comic book Avengers, it's still a movie, The Avengers. It's still a movie about, or a TV show about zombies that was in a book, Walking Dead and all that stuff. So it's, for me, sometimes it's still comics, but there's a lot of them. They're entertaining, don't get me wrong. Like say, for example, Midnight Texas, right? Big, huge push in New York and LA and all that stuff, but it's never been a comic book. So why have it at a Comic Con? You know, pop culture, yes, but why have it at a Comic Con?
Well, I'll give you an example. San Antonio this weekend, which is a celebrity show, and it basically you have Ben Affleck that's going to be there. Who does Ben have connection to comic books? Yes.
Yeah.
You know, through Batman, absolutely. Through Daredevil, again, Aquaman, and then there's some of the other actors they have are actors that are from the Stargate series.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, I know there's been books that have come out that was like an afterthought. Same thing with iZombie. Is you know, a couple of actors in the iZombie show, and you know, to me, it's when you sit there and you call yourself, you know.
Well, okay, for this San Antonio show though, is it Celebrity Con or are they calling it a San Antonio Comic Con?
No, I think it's called Fan
Expo?
It's being called a Fan Fest.
Oh, okay.
It's being called a Fan Fest, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Again, I'm okay with that. I know as an example, you have the right to use the term Comic Con.
Yeah.
And what was interesting was that you know, San Diego, while today is it predominantly comics, maybe not, but it's still. Whereas the show that's in Salt Lake, as far as I know, from day one,
Celebrity based.
it was celebrity based, it was fan based, and if they had comics there, the primary purpose of the show.
Yeah, it's like we got Chris Evans as a celebrity. Just so happens he's also Captain America. So.
Creators, and I've seen them bring out maybe one or two. Usually, by the time the show rolls around, you look at who they have, and you know, most of who their comic people are going to be your typical artist alley creators, and not your headline for 20, 30, 40 years have put out books, you know, have been published, you know, by a publisher, and so again, it becomes more of a an artist alley where you basically get people there that are selling their individual art, and whether it was comic related or not didn't make any difference.
It's unfortunate because a lot of times when you do a lot of celebrity centric conventions, wait in line for 3 hours or whatever have you. By the time they're done, they go to artist alley just to look at stuff and take a few pictures here and there, but they're not there to see a Jerry Conway. They're not there to see, you know.
Yeah, you're right. Because
Yeah,
you're gonna, you know,
you
you take someone like a Ben Affleck. Someone's gonna sit there and stand in line all.
And you gotta buy the.
and I don't even know what the photo op is.
Right.
You know, it's like give you example. I don't know if you heard, but Arnold Schwarzenegger was at a show in San Antonio this past weekend, and there was a lot of chatter about that because it's ballsy to bring out someone like that because you know that he's going to have a pretty significant guarantee.
Oh yeah, his rider must be crazy.
Well, the only way, this was before the show started, the only way you could get his autograph was to buy his VIP package at one autograph from Arnold.
Wow.
And what ended up happening is they did not sell as many of the VIP packages as they had hoped to. So next thing you know, come showtime, what are they doing? They're now opening with Arnold for $350, $400. But then because of that created a backlash with all the VIP members because the VIP members went, wait a minute, I paid $1,200, $1,500 for my package, which that was supposed to be the only way I can get an autograph or a photograph with him. And now they had to suddenly say, well, tell you what, we'll throw in an extra autograph, or we're going to do this, or we're going to do that.
Jeez.
And you know, again, that's what's going on is you have these celebrities who are recognizing the money that can be generated. Is it the celebrity that's doing this? Is it their manager? Is it their agent? Who knows?
Yeah.
You know, it was interesting because I would say probably up to about a year, maybe two, a most specific handler who was versed at dealing with conventions. Whereas what's been happening over the last year to two now is that you have the agencies, whether it's William Morris or whether it's CAA or within their company of someone who does what? Handles conventions because of the money being generated at these conventions.
Now keep in mind for the people out there, you gotta realize that sometimes, like I personally know Jason from Jason Momoa, right from Hawaii, and even back then he was signing stuff like he'd sign anything. But now that he's become a celebrity status, he has an agency that has to deal with this. Now the celebrity doesn't set the price unless they say how much you need to make, this is how much our guarantee needs to make, this is what we can potentially make during this one show for 3 hours a day or whatever, and they set the prices. So a lot of the times the celebrity doesn't even set the price, they just do what they do and get the money.
Well, if they do set the price, the unfortunate fact is they're setting it because of ego, not who I should be above him. He's making X amount per signature, so I should be making at least that, if not more.
Exactly.
And I ran into a situation where I was contacted by an individual show, and I'm going to have access to these celebrities that are going to be at the show, and if you would like to get stuff signed, this is what the price is going to be, this is what I'm paying, and the whole bit. It's like, okay, cool. I said, am I okay to promote this to my customers? Oh yeah, absolutely. Let's try to get this particular number of signatures. So he wanted to make sure that he made that number.
Yeah.
Well, what did we do? We sat there and we promoted on our Facebook page. We promoted on our website and everything. And within a couple of weeks after promoting it, I suddenly get contacted by the promoter of that show. You're not allowed to do this, and what I ended up finding out is that because I guess it was an agent who complained to the promoter because they happened to see it.
Yeah.
And they're like, he's not using a proper authorized photograph.
Are you
or making the celebrity uncomfortable. Our price wasn't all that high.
I didn't set the price.
You set the price. Basically, actually, to be honest, our price was basically.
Well, yeah, because you got services and all that stuff.
And so we were told, pull it down, and you're not going to be able to do this. And it's like, whoa, where did this come from? And again, it was because an agent complained to the promoter that we went on the internet and we found a photograph that had already been on the internet for that particular celebrity, and that's what we were using.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like what now in order to promote a new project that they're working on, and that they don't want you using any old photos or something like that. It's like, wow.
Well, speaking from the agent side, I would side with them.
It's like you could have, this is what we're doing, this is blah, 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 blah. And somebody looked at it. It wasn't just like willy-nilly. Somebody must have looked at it. And so, to have him say, take it all down a day before the show. So, I mean, I can see both sides, because you want to promote, like, say, for example, Chris Evans. I'm just using him. And Chris Claremont! Okay, so, Chris Evans, right? You want to promote him with the beard because now that's his look in the New Avengers. So you don't want to use his Captain America First Avengers movie poster to promote thing. But if it's been being used for so many weeks and it's been looked at by so many different people from both sides, from the customer, well, not even the customer, from like the promoter, the agent, all that stuff. Somebody's seen it, and then all of a sudden, no, take it down. What I mean? It's kind of iffy.
Well, give an example. I can see your old picture, and unfortunately, that's not reflective of who that actor is or where he is today. Okay, that I get, but to use a picture that was basically less than a year old, it's kind of like, really?
Well, if anything, they could have said, you know what, that's the wrong picture. Take all your promotional stuff down and read. That's just bad business.
I would go with that. Because, I mean, again, speaking from that side,
Yeah.
like, when we, for DevCon, for example, when we put stuff out for, you know, for our gigs, we still have to run it by marketing. We still have to run it by people to say,
Yeah.
okay, well, okay, we can't use this picture, we can't use that, so go ahead and, let's change it. We'll do
Yeah,
this,
exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
so,
But that particular agency or that particular celebrity, where in this case we're the people buying the tickets to get the autographs. Now, yes, we are secondarily selling that opportunity to our customers. We do not have a relationship with the agent or with the actor. We're the end user.
But I think the point is.
You follow what I'm saying?
Well,
I still, I mean, I see what you're saying, but I still feel like,
it needs to go.
I mean, that has nothing to do with what you started talking about, so.
Well, where we were going with this was when we started talking about agents being involved and stuff like that. So, yeah, we kind of got off.
Like, I see both sides
here when it comes to cons.
Well, I see both sides, but at the same time, there's different channels that you have to go through. There's different, like, say for example, business. So it's not like I'm personally putting out my, like, oh, here, come check out Wolverine, right?
Yeah.
Even though it's a personal thing, as a business, I still have to go and say, you know, the promoters for the convention, the agent that they're working with, their PR guy, and all that stuff. So I get what you're saying. You know, let's give a shout out though.
Hey, you know what? I gotta give a shout out to my goddaughter though, because my goddaughter had her 4th birthday yesterday, and happy birthday, Alice!
Yay!
She's so cute. She's probably not gonna even watch this.
It doesn't matter. Well, now she's gonna have to watch it. So
Now she's gonna have to watch it.
Yo, Nico, make her watch this.
Anyways.
That's our last recording.
And with that being said, that's it for our show. My name is JQ. His name is Free. Woo! And his name is Chandler.
And don't forget,
The Great American Comic Con, November 17th and 18th. Right there at the Las Vegas Convention Center. We are out, folks. It is Geeked Out.